Welcome to the Undisputed podcast. I'm your host, Jenny Taft. This podcast is the full show from today's episode of Undisputed from start to finish. They've got a busy slate, so Skip, Shannon, let's get to it.
Welcome to Undisputed. We are live from Los Angeles. I'm Alex Curry here with Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharpe. Good morning, guys. How we doing?
Good morning. I'm doing great.
Showdown in D.C. on Sunday. So what I would like to know off the top of this show from the world's #1 Cowboy hater, Shannon Sharpe, is, will my Dallas Cowboys do, as you call it, cowboy things at Washington on Sunday? Lots of cowboy things, as in, as in, right?
I'm gonna go get me 2
Is that
cases.
your prediction?
I'm gonna get me 2 cases. Only 2.
Well, we will save that for tomorrow's show, and I will happily take them off you also.
No. And I'm gonna get the points though.
Yeah.
Let's get started with Skip's Cowboys, because since the Cowboys' Week 7 bye, Micah Parsons has notched 7 of his 10 sacks, including 1 sack in 5 straight games. And according to Pro Football Focus, Parsons has the highest pass rushing grade of any player in football, including Myles Garrett, Aaron Donald, and T.J. Watt. So, Shannon, do you think he has become the best pass rusher?
No, it's not even close, Skip. Skip, you know what I thought about this guy before he even came out in the draft. I told you, I said, Skip, he's going to be the defensive rookie of the year. I said, he's the best defensive player in this draft. I said, Skip, I'm not so sure he doesn't have a chance to be the best player in this draft based on what he did that 1 year I saw him in college and his measurables. He goes to the right situation. He is special. I'm not debating that. There's no question about that. If you want to say he's the best pass rusher in this rookie class, if you want to say he's the best defensive player, but Skip, nobody thinks that he's a better pass rusher than T.J. Watt. Nobody thinks that. Nobody thinks he's better than Myles Garrett. I'm not going to even mention A.D. because A.D. is a standalone. We know every team goes into the ball game says we got to block 99. If we don't block 99, I understand Leonard Floyd is who he is. They now have Von Miller. But if we do not control 99, we cannot win this game. Aaron Donald gets the Reggie White. He gets the Lawrence Taylor. He gets the Bruce Smith type treatment. You don't block him, you don't win on Sundays. Micah Parsons isn't there yet, Skip. When I start seeing the consistent double teams, when I start seeing occasional triple teams, I start guys chipping their way out of the backfield and on him, when I see teams set their offense specifically, the line protection, specifically for Micah Parsons, then we can have a conversation. That's not to diminish to say he's not having an outstanding season. But Skip, you and I both know there is no general manager, even though Micah Parsons is, 20 years old. There is no general manager right now that would take Micah Parsons over T.J. Watt. Not one. Not even the Dallas Cowboys would swap Micah Parsons right now and that $100+ million contract that T.J. Watt had for T.J. Watt.
I disagree with that, but keep going.
It's not even close.
Okay.
He's not close to T.J. Watt. T.J. Watt's going to win the Defensive Player of the Year. You had a case for it last year. Myles Garrett, we know what he is, Skip. He's a guy that you set the protection for, and you're like, look, we got to control him. If we don't control him, we can't beat the Browns. And Aaron Donald. So also, Skip, look, I get it. They have this formula. They won't tell you what the formula they use to grade. Okay, he has a higher grade. Okay, is he taking the same test as T.J. Watt, Myles Garrett, and Aaron Donald? Because you can't grade him if all he's getting is single block, and these guys are getting double and triple blocks. So that's what I need to know. I wish somehow they would say, okay, Skip, PER, we have a general understanding what PER is. You say the guy has the ball, he does this with the ball, subtract the turnover, yada, yada, yada. We get the PER.
In basketball.
In basketball. But when you said, okay, this is the grade, well, how did you come to that grade? Did you know the coverage that they were in? Did you know what he had to do? So for me, Skip, even though I don't know the formula that they use, there is no way Micah Parsons is a better pass rusher currently. I'm not saying he can't become, but as you and I have this conversation right now, he's not better than those 3 guys.
My turn to talk about my new guy, 11 from heaven. Shannon Sharpe, I give you this. You saw him coming before I did because I locked in on Patrick Surtain. I said, I need that bookend corner from Alabama, opposite Trevon Diggs, and then I got something to write home about. I got something to hang 2 of my hats on.
Right.
And by the way, Patrick Surtain is turning out to be pretty great.
Yeah.
He just might start making the first of 12, 15 straight Pro Bowls. Who knows?
Well, he'd definitely be a lot better than 30 on the other side of Trevon Diggs.
That is correct. Don't get me started on that. You just burst my balloon. But the point is, you saw this man coming. I saw him 2 years ago, but then he sat out. He opted out. And I saw flashes 2 years ago, but I didn't think twice when he fell all the way into our laps after Jerry traded back all the way to 10? 12. To 12. I'm sorry, 12. We're at
Philly was at 10.
Yes. Yeah, and we were there for a moment. Okay, so the point was, we get him with the 12th overall pick, which could go down as an all-time steal.
Oh, absolutely.
So Shannon Sharpe was ahead of the curve, but Shannon Sharpe won't validate him the way I am already validating. So I'm giving into, you saw him first, but you won't co-sign on him. You won't say he's already arrived the way I see him arriving.
No, Skip. I've said that. He's arrived. But is he arrived to the level of TJ? Skip, you saw TJ Watt Sunday.
I see him all the time. That's why I keep telling you, you better not write them off.
You saw him opening day in Buffalo.
Okay.
They're down 16-0.
At half.
And he wrecked Sharpe on Josh Allen.
23-16,
exactly.
Pittsburgh at Buffalo.
Yes.
Can't write them off. Okay. In part because of him and in part because of the quarterback has still got enough left. But let's get back to my team.
Okay.
The number one reason I keep telling you that we not only have a chance to make the playoffs by winning the division, but also a chance to make a run in the playoffs. The number one reason is 11 from heaven, Micah Parsons. I told you yesterday, we'll ultimately go as far as our quarterback takes us because it's a quarterback's game.
Right.
But the reason the defense has improved as dramatically from one year to the next as any unit I can ever remember in all my years of covering professional football, a defense that was an all-time disaster last year has turned into, dare I say, credible this year, legitimate.
Yeah, it's more than respectable.
And to the point where I'm starting to think it's a better unit, a more trustable, dependable unit than the offense is.
Well, it's definitely more consistent.
Okay, thank you, because it just keeps hanging in and hanging in and hanging on, in large part because of what this kid is doing. And this kid is being graded by Pro Football Focus. All they can do is, when he does rush the passer, they grade him. And did he get there? Did he get a hand on him? Did he disrupt? Did he distract? Did he sack? Well, again, they're saying every time he does rush the passer, his grade is a little bit better than these other stud rushers. And there's no doubt about the proven capability, the nuclear capability of Myles Garrett and Aaron Donald. And we can even go to Max Crosby if you'd like to, who are the next three on the list. But they're just saying in the plays that we have to grade, and I give you double team or not, I'm seeing more double teams here of late. I'm seeing him shift and almost like shape shift through the middle. He'll stunt through the middle and he'll get real skinny because he is still kind of skinny. And all of a sudden he's all over the quarterback. And to me, his closing speed is better than the closing speed. I'm talking about the last 5 yards of closing speed. It is slightly beyond Myles Garrett and Aaron Donald and TJ Watt right now. It's just slight. I've just never seen anything quite the suddenness of it as we saw on Thursday night when it's a 3rd and 2 play, and he just is all over poor Taysom Hill before he knows what hit him, right? Okay, so what have I seen this year? Well, if I can count the ways he has changed football games, it started with game 2, which I look back on as a do or die, like a season shifting game where, remember, we barely lose to Goat at Goat on Thursday night, opening Thursday night. Then we have to go to the Chargers. And I'm thinking, oh, God, are we going to be 0-2? And I went ahead and picked my team, not because of Micah Parsons, because I didn't see him coming yet. I liked what I saw in the preseason, but didn't see that much of him.
Yeah,
it's mostly
really
from hard knocks, right? Okay, so what does he do? Remember the sequence of plays where they get it all the way down 1st and goal at the 2-yard line? And remember what happens? My favorite tight end, Jared Cook, he gets some illegal shift. I still can't figure out exactly what it was, but he didn't get set before the snap. Caught a touchdown pass. I thought I was cooked. I thought the game was they were about to be ahead by 4 points and we were going to be dead in the water. And instead, there's a penalty, and it gets to be, all of a sudden, it's 1st and goal at the 7, and he misses Mike Williams. And now it's 2nd goal at the 7. If we could see what happened on this play, this is a play of the year. This is a season-saving play right here by guess who? Guess who? Here he comes. Look at the closing speed. And even Justin Herbert underestimated what was about to happen because you got to get rid of the football, right? You just got to throw it away. And it was so sudden that he was going down, he couldn't even get rid of the football. It's a sack. And all of a sudden, they lose 18 yards on that play. They had a third down play, and they made back 14, but it still forced a 29-yard field goal, and it's tied. And then Dak goes 5 for 5 down the field. My coach completely mismanages the clock at the end of the game, and it didn't matter because it's a 56-yard field goal ball game, right?
Yeah.
Okay, was that not a season-saving sack?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. This is why, in totality, I'm starting to make the case he's not just the defensive rookie of the year, he is in the discussion with a real shot at winning defensive player of the year.
He got no shot at winning that award, not after what T.J. Watt did on Sunday, and everybody saw that.
We still got 5 big games left. Let's see what we see. We got T.J. Watt tonight, as a matter of fact, right?
Against that Vikings offensive line.
All right. Well, we'll see what starts happening. And I love him, and I have stood up for him on this show repeated times. But then let's go, shall we, to the Kansas City game. Again, the shock of the game was that my defense, featuring Micah Parsons, 11 from heaven, held Patrick Mahomes to 19 points at Kansas City when I felt like it was going to take at least 30 to win the game. And my offense has the ball 12 times and makes 3 field goals with no touchdowns. Well, what happened in that game, if we could please take a look at that? Because here's the sack on Mahomes. If we could see the first one, this is late in the first half. And here he goes, and it's a strip sack. Remember this? And all of a sudden, we've got the ball at their 42. And I'm thinking, well, guess what? We're down 16-3, but it could be 16-10 at halftime.
Right.
Does my quarterback cash it in? No, he did not. Can we see what the quarterback did about 4 plays later? He throws one up for grabs. We could have at least had 3 points here, and he throws it up for grabs. And guess what happens? Not only does the ball get intercepted, but CeeDee Lamb gets whiplashed on the play, and he's gone for the second half and a whole nother game, right?
Yes.
It was a turning point of 2 losses, actually, was that play right there. Unfortunately delivered by my quarterback. Okay, so now we go to the Thanksgiving game. Tell me how big this was in overtime. What did Micah Parsons do? It looked like he had just won the game for the Dallas Cowboys, or at least saved the game with this sack, if we could please see it on Derek Carr. Here we go, and he finally got free. He finally, there's muscle and there's explosion going on. That's quite a pass rush, right?
Yeah.
And he finally got Derek Carr on the ground, and I thought, I got this. And what happens on the next play? It's all the way back to 3rd and 18 at the 42, and you know the rest of the story, right? Derek Carr says, I'll just throw it up for grabs here. And Anthony Brown does not turn around to look for the football, and it's game over because that's it. That was the ball game, right? Because now you're already in field goal range. Because that is a 33-yard pass interference call that wiped out what could have been a game-changing or game-winning play by 11 from heaven. Am I right?
Right.
Okay, and then I mentioned the sack on this a week ago tonight, obviously at New Orleans, a crucial game for my team. And it's 3rd and 2 at the Dallas 26, and they're down 20-10. And I'm thinking, well, they're about to make this a 1-score game, and that happened, right?
Yes.
Okay, now I'm to my biggest picture point about my guy, Micah Parsons, who was your guy. What have I told you for the last 5 straight weeks on this show? They are misusing him. They are handicapping him because they continue to insist he's a linebacker more than he's a pass rusher. So the incredible part of this grade is that he's not being allowed to rush the passer nearly as much as all these other guys are just pure pass rushers.
They do a lot of different things with T.J. Watt. T.J. Watt would drop more because Pittsburgh
occasionally.
They get exotic with what they do with him. Skip. But see, I don't want you to think that I'm trying to minimize Michael. I'm not. But for the mere fact, Skip, that he's in the conversation with these 3 elite level pass rushers lets you know how special he is.
I'm just asking you.
Yes.
Would you please validate my opinion of the last 5 weeks?
Yes.
That this coaching staff is completely underutilizing a guy who graded #1 this week as the best pass rusher. He's used often as a linebacker. And by the way, before you go. Do you remember the other play that we fixated on from the last Thursday night game? Do you remember the play that Micah made down the field? Kenny Stills? Kenny Stills got cut over this play. Kenny Stills is no longer a New Orleans Saint because Sean Payton said, we have to make that catch.
Yeah.
Well, I think Micah Parsons got fingertips on this football. That's what it looks like to me.
I think the quarterback needs to throw with better anticipation. Once he turns up, he's open. Taysom Hill needs to let the ball go. He's trying to wait guys all the way open. No, the guy has too much closing speed.
Okay, all right. He does have too much closing speed, but here's the shock of the play. That play ended up 5 yards from the goal line. It's a downfield throw.
Yes.
Why is Micah Parsons now graded the #1 pass rusher in pro football all the way that deep, playing quarters coverage where he had a quarter where he had to run with a wide out down the field on a crossing route? Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
That's like a fireable offense to me. That's what are you thinking?
No,
what is in your head? You want to out-cute the NFL. You want to say, we've got the jack of all trades. We can do everything with him. No, you can do one thing with him, rush the passer.
What did I try to tell you? I say, Skip, sometimes you can have a surplus of talent. I say, now what happens when Randy Gregory? What happens when D. Law? What happens when Dorrance Armstrong? You can only have so many rushers at one time.
By the way, to your point, they're about to all be healthy for the first time since the opener.
So now what do you do?
Yep.
And remember, I say, Skip, sometimes you can have too much of a good thing because now that means, okay, are you going to play Micah Parsons at a defensive end? That means Randy Gregory or D. Law is going to have to be off the field. So basically, Skip, you have to have him on the field as a linebacker, but I agree with you.
Unless we do what you suggested, just drop DeMarcus Lawrence, who weighs like 280, just drop him down to tackle.
But Skip, I'm talking about dropping him down, keep bumping him down to tackle on pass rushing down.
Okay.
I don't think he can be, I don't think he's big enough to hold up on a continuous basis on first and second down. But you get your NASCAR package on the field. You get him, D. Law, Micah Parsons, Randy Gregory, Dorrance Armstrong. If you want to put one of those D tackles in there, now you got speed guys to go get after the quarterback. Somebody's going to get single because you can't double everyone. Skip, the young man has been sensational. He's been If they tell you that we knew he was going to be that, you'd lie because you'd have never traded back. You would have never run the risk of losing
Seriously?
this.
Yeah. Would you? No. You cannot gloat over this, Jerry Jones. You did not see this coming, or you would have just sat right there and taken it.
Yeah, exactly.
And you would have run effectively to the podium.
Yeah, you'd run that car to the...
You run it in because you think, he's #1 on our board.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
We don't want a quarterback, so we want a defensive. Of our defensive players, he should have been #1 on your board, but he was not.
Right.
No disrespect to Patrick Surtain or J.C. Horn.
Correct.
Okay, so here's the conclusion of this. The bottom line is Pro Football Focus also grades Micah overall as a defensive player in general as the only 24th best in the NFL, which is still, for a rookie, it's very good to be in top 25, you know?
Yes.
But he's only 24th. So wait a second. He's #1 as a pass rusher. He's 24th overall because they're docking him for his inability to stop the run.
Yeah.
Well, again, did I ever want Von Miller to stop the run? No, I didn't really care.
Yeah.
Was he great at stopping the run? No, he wasn't great, but he was an all-time great pass rusher. What did Jimmy Johnson tell me like the first week I met him? You win in this game with quarterback and a pass rusher. That's what you have to start with, those two things.
You give me a guy that can score the points and give me a guy that can stop you from scoring the points.
That is correct, because nobody can negate a quarterback faster than a pass rusher.
But Skip, it goes like this. How many times we've seen elite-level pass receivers be great run blockers in the run game? Because you get used to catching passes, catching touchdowns. Well, he's got a taste of getting to the quarterback. So sometimes he jumps around blocks, he runs himself out of place, he over-pursues some things, and he gets out of position. You'll accept that, because you got a guy here that can average somewhere between 12 and 16 sacks for, say, 7, 8 years. Right. That's how good he has the potential to be. Now, he's only in his rookie year. He really doesn't really understand how to set blocks up just yet, Skip, and to be like a T.J. Watt or to be like a Myles Garrett, where he has an understanding, where he's breaking down all these guys that he's going to potentially face, and he breaks, because, Skip, that's what I guarantee you, T.J. Watt, every guy that he's going to face, he breaks him down. It's like, okay, this is what he's vulnerable at. Okay, don't try this, don't try that. Pretty soon, Micah Parsons is going to have a package. He's going to have coaches say, this is what I need you to do. Of all the guys that I could potentially face next year, I want you to break them down, because I want to start analyzing them and getting ahead. That's what Tom, you don't think Tom Brady break down defensive, Skip, in the offseason? Peyton Manning, Drew Brees? That's what the really good ones do. So that's what he's going to have, a catalog of offensive tackles or guys that he could potentially face, and You think he good now? Give him 2 years.
Right now, he's just doing it on raw
ability.
instinct.
Raw ability.
Just what does it feel like? Can I go here? Can I go there? He's been listening to a DeMarcus Ware who helped Big Brother him during camp.
Yeah.
Remember? And we saw it on Hard Knocks.
Yes.
His ears are open.
Yes.
And he does seem, as full of himself as he seems to have some humility to him where he's open to coaching and teaching.
Yes.
But the point is, he's so open that he's not bucking the system when they say,
you're a rookie, Skip. It's hard to buck when you're a rookie.
Okay, I got it. But he's starting not to be a rookie anymore. We're about to hit that point in the season where you're a made man, right?
Well, here's the thing. This is what's going to happen. At some point in time, Jerry Jones going to come down and say, what the hell are we doing with Michael? Why was he 15 yards down the field and not 15 yards in the backfield?
That's correct. What I need to know. And why about half the time on Thursday night at New Orleans was he spying Taysom Hill?
Right.
Where he'd line up at middle linebacker effectively,
right,
and he would just try to mirror Taysom. And just wait. Is he going to go right or left? I'll go with him. Well, sure, he can run with him. You are outthinking yourself.
Right.
The better way to stop Taysom Hill is just to let that guy put his hand in the dirt, so to speak, or he can just stand up, whatever he feels more comfortable doing off the edge, and attack him as he drops back to pass.
Well, that's what you're normally supposed to do with mobile quarterbacks, Skip, is that you pressure them, make them speed them up, make them think faster, speed things up, keep him in the pocket. You see what the Steelers do to Lamar Jackson?
Yep.
They blitz him, they let him know the side. That's to keep him in the pocket, and it's also to speed his progression up. Okay.
Well, they're just blitzing the hell out of it now.
But that's what you do. That's what you do with a mobile guy. Okay. I'm going to make you make a decision quick. Skip, I'm not going to let you run around all over here and all over there and get my guys tired and then throw the ball over my head. I want you to make a decision instantaneous.
I agree. So what did Micah say yesterday? We now have a three-headed monster.
Yes.
They could, because DeMarcus Lawrence came back last week on a Thursday night and made first team all weekly all pro in Pro Football Focus. So he was the best defensive end, one of the two best. They had two of them obviously on first team of the week.
Right.
In his bounce back game, his comeback game, well, that's pretty great. And we've seen Randy Gregory. I told you earlier this year, I thought he'd have a Pro Bowl breakout season, and he was on that arc. Right. When he pulled his calf, but they say he practiced, so it looks like he is coming back. Right. So if you, on passing downs especially, if you drop D-Law inside and you have Randy Gregory off one end and Micah coming off the other edge, and you can get Dorrance in there, or Neville Gallimore is going to be back, who's a
Watkins or Tristan Hill, one of those guys, But as long as you have those three guys, the other guys doesn't matter. So as long as you have Parsons, you have Gregory, and you have D-Law, as long as you have three of the four of one of those guys, the three of the four of those guys, you're going to be good. You're going to be good.
Here we come.
And don't be afraid to give occasional and Brown some help on the other side.
Oh, yeah?
Don't be afraid to help him, Skip.
No mercy. Steph Curry made 6 3-pointers in last night's win over Portland, leaving him 10 away from breaking Ray Allen's all-time career record. The pursuit now moves to Philadelphia for a game on Saturday. And if he doesn't get it there, it seems almost inevitable he'd break it Monday in Indiana. So, Shannon, now that he's about to break this record, does it change the way you rank him as an all-time player?
No, it does not, Skip. I have him just right outside the top 10. He wins another MVP, and he's the favorite, the betting favorite currently as we speak, Skip, to win the MVP. He wins another title, Skip. I don't know how. He's the second best point guard of all time if he were to win another title. And he has to get into the top 10. With three regular season MVPs, one of those unanimous, Skip, another championship, that's four titles. I don't know how you keep him outside of the top 10, Skip, with his resume and still building. Skip, this record, the three-point, although it's impressive, and I don't want people to think that I don't think the three-point, but it's not like the home run record. Barry Bonds breaking that, it was significant, Skip. The scoring record, Kareem's scoring record, that's significant. The three-point doesn't hold the same significance as the all-time scoring record or the home run record.
I'll buy that.
And so for me, Skip, I don't think...
Especially when Hank Aaron broke it, but go ahead.
When Hank Aaron broke it. Oh, of course. When Hank Aaron broke it, wow. What he had to go through just to break it, that's a whole different ballgame, Skip. But for me, I don't think it is. And I think, we talked about this yesterday, Skip. I said, Skip, and he was like, well, stranger things have happened. I'm like, he actually going to try and break it. Because he realized the next 5 games were going to be on the road, Skip, and he wanted to have this moment in front of his home crowd.
He did.
I'm looking at the first half. I'm like, man, Steph got up 12 threes. He probably gonna get up another 12 in the second half.
Not quite, but 6 of 17.
Skip, he couldn't, because even the threes that he was getting off, they were heavily, heavily contested. They're like, you're not breaking this record on us, bro.
That's what they were saying.
It's just not gonna happen, Skip. It's not gonna happen.
Even without Dame and CJ, they just said no.
No. Yeah. There's a bunch of guys out there. I didn't know many of them, but they're like, nah, this is not gonna happen.
That's the Chauncey Billups factor to me. I think he told them in the locker room, this is not gonna happen tonight.
Right, because Skip, when somebody breaks a record, that things gets chronicled. And so when they go back and look at it, man, that was against Portland. Man, you was on that Portland? Yeah, I was on that team. So for me, Skip, look, Steph, when you look at Steph, Skip, and people, I don't think people realize how good Steph was. In the 2017 NBA Finals, Steph Curry was 27, 8, and 9. 27 points, 8 rebounds, 9 assists. The next year, he was 27, 6 rebounds, 7 assists. That will normally win you an MVP if you win the fight. But KD was at 34. KD was at 33. And then the 2019, when KD got hurt, he was 30, 5, and 6. He has a career average of 26.5 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists. That's a higher finals average than one Kobe Bryant. We think Kobe pretty good. One Larry Bird, and one D. Wade. Now, do we think any of those guys are any good? Steph Curry has a higher scoring average in the finals than those guys. So I don't think this record, Skip, is going to change for me. I don't think it gets him inside the top 10. But another MVP, another championship, I don't see how we can keep him out of the top 10.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. I want to be clear about this. I saw Steph coming before most people saw him coming, because I'm going to reiterate that before that draft, I was on the other network. I fought everybody over the fact that I kept digging in and saying that little guy from Davidson should go #1. Never seen anything like him. Never been a better shooter in college basketball, and I'm pretty sure it's going to translate because his daddy could translate, right?
Right.
So I said, it has to be little Steph Curry as the #1 overall, and everybody said, it's Blake Griffin.
Right.
Have you watched? Yeah, I watched every game he played for the University of Oklahoma, and there were a lot of them because he stayed for 2 years. What does that usually tell you about somebody? They need some work, right? They're not an automatic slam dunk #1 overall pick in 1 year of college. So Blake stayed. Way to go. I love Blake.
Right.
But now you look back on it, and what do you say?
Right. Yeah.
Okay. Fine. So it's not like I disrespected Steph from the start. But I always tell you, I say what I see, or in some cases, what I don't see. And all I know about Steph is that sequence of those last 3 games against your team, LeBron's 2016 Cavaliers, featuring LeBron and Kyrie, obviously, and Kevin Love. What happened in those last 3 games when they had a 3-1 lead, followed by what happened in the offseason, disqualified Steph. As lovable and as great a guy as he is, but it disqualified him from top 10 all-time status in my book. Because what did you tell me? Draymond fled into the parking lot crying tears, right?
Yes.
Called KD, we got to have you. You got to come save us. And then Steph Curry leads the charge, the brigade.
Yeah.
They fly all the way as a group, all the way to the end of Long Island, where KD is vacationing on July the 4th to try to recruit him to come save us at Golden State. What great player would do that? Again, it's a disqualification because obviously Steph was the best player on that team.
Yeah.
And yet he's leading the contingent to say, we need you.
But I think the thing is, Skip, that just goes to show you the sacrifice. D. Wade had to sacrifice. You don't think D. Wade pitched LeBron?
Had he won a championship by himself?
Yes.
He had.
Has Steph won a championship by himself? He had.
Had he been the finals MVP? He had not.
Skip,
Andre Iguodala was.
But Skip, Andre Iguodala didn't. I shouldn't say he won it. But let's not pretend that Steph Curry wasn't averaging 26 points a game in the finals.
Okay,
Skip.
but they were down 2-1 in LeBron's house, and Steve Kerr went to Andre Iggy in the starting lineup.
But he mainly got that award for holding a man for 36, 13, and 9.
Okay, but he did do a good job on it. He also did a good offensive job with LeBron often guarding him.
Yeah, but Skip.
He changed that series.
I mean, normally you don't give guys finals MVP for averaging 16 points a game.
Okay, but go back and look at LeBron's numbers that fateful Game 4 night in his house, up 2-1. He was terrible that night. You can say he had an off night, but Iggy had a lot to do with it. It turned the whole series around, and your guys didn't win another game in that series,
No,
right?
they did not, Skip.
Okay. All right, so let's look at the overview of Steph. You throw all these big numbers. Look at the percentages of what's happened to Steph and all of his playoff. I'm doing all the series, not just the finals. I'm not focusing. I'm not cherry picking.
Okay.
I'm looking at the overview of this. In regular seasons, he has averaged 48% from the floor. Pretty good for a guard who shoots a lot of outside shots, obviously. In the playoffs in general, that falls down to 45%. You say, well, it's only 3 percentage points. Well, he's played a bunch of games. It's a huge drop.
It is.
Okay? 3-point shooting, which he is the all-time obvious greatest at. 43% in regular season games, but in all of his playoff games, he's only averaged 40%. Another 3 percentage point drops. It's huge. Right? And then I'll never get over this because obviously I was rooting for Golden State at this point, but they're up 3-1. And in games 5, 6, and 7, 2 of those at Oracle in Steph's house, he shoots 37%. This is overall in those 3 games, 37% from the floor, only 36% from 3. That's 15 of 42. In all 3 of those games, as the point guard of that team, he had 7 total assists in 3 games and 12 turnovers. He was a minus 20 overall and plus minus for those 3 games. And now we start looking at just the fourth quarter of those 3 games, 5, 6, and 7, 2 at Oracle. He shot 30% from the floor in those 3 fourth quarters and only 25% from 3. It's horrendously bad, which leads to the culminating Game 7. This is Steph's game. This is one of those, you put your stamp on it for all-time legacy purposes, right? He shoots 6 of 19 from the floor in that game and 4 of 14 from 3. And excuse me, in the fourth quarter, he goes 1 of 6 from the floor and 1 of 5 from 3 and has a huge turnover with 3 minutes left that helped turn the tide back in favor of LeBron and Kyrie.
But Skip, when you look at the 75-year history, how many small guards have even led a team to the NBA championship? Allen Iverson took his team to the NBA Finals.
And he won Game 1 at Staples. He did that.
Isaiah.
And he stepped over Ty Lue, but go ahead. He scored 48 points in that game in overtime.
Isaiah led a team, the Detroit Pistons. He was a Finals MVP. They were back-to-back champions. Other than that, and Steph Curry, those are the only small guards. And I say small, Skip, I'm talking about 6'2" and smaller. Now, Magic Johnson.
Give Steph 6'3", so is he taller than you give him credit for?
But
Allen was 5'11" to me, and Isaiah might have been 6'1", maybe.
Yeah, but I think the thing is, Skip, we think small. When we think guards, we think 6'4", 6'5", 6'6".
Now you do. I agree.
Magic was a big guard.
Freakish.
So, and so that's what. And so Magic leading a team is not as shocking because Magic could play all 5 positions. There are not very many players ever that could play all 5 positions. Well, we saw it. You know, Skip, we hear that where sometimes you hear in baseball, well, he's a 5'2" player. Well, I don't really see it. You know, Griffey, 5'2", had outstanding defense, could hit for average, hit for power, could run the bases, do all that. This Magic can really play 5 positions because we saw him do it and he on the biggest stage, not in the regular season game, Skip. We saw him jump center and run the point guard in the NBA Finals Game 6.
6 feet 9 inches tall.
And 6'9". So a big guard. So I look at Steph Curry and I still consider him a small guard.
Okay.
For him to do what he's been able to do, Skip, I don't think you're giving him enough credit.
Okay. 2019 Finals. This is his time to shine. This is where, if you're that guy, you're a top 10 bound player where you're going to be remembered as one of the 10 best players ever. This is your moment to take over and put your stamp on your legacy as I did that in 2019. This is against Kawhi and the Raptors, right? And what does he do in the whole 6-game series? He shoots 34% from 3. 34%. Game 6, he has a chance to force a Game 7 back in Toronto. I don't know what would have happened. Obviously, the injuries started to occur. But remember, you don't have KD for most of that. And you had him for a touch there.
Yeah, he had like 12 minutes.
Okay. And then obviously you end up losing Clay. But you have a chance to put your stamp on this. And he's got a late shot and it was a good look with 8 seconds left to win the game. They were down 1. It could have put them up 2. Would Toronto have gotten a last-second shot? Would Kawhi have bounced one 17 times off the rim and made it? I don't know. But it was a chance in your house. The crowd would have erupted and might have just broken the eardrums of the Raptors at that point, and he missed it. Okay? I can't find anything in here where I say, whew, that's all time, and that's all time. You give me those numbers, but when you really start to boil it down to nitty-gritty time, I can't find it.
But Skip, look, I think when we really look at it, there have been only a handful of players that score more in the playoffs than they do the regular season. I think LeBron has a higher scoring average in the playoffs. Kevin Durant, Michael Jordan. But for this, Skip, I mean, now, and I think...
Okay, I get it. Defenses get better.
Yeah, you playing better. You playing better team.
You do things.
And you're small, Skip. He's a small guard.
Are you that guy or not that guy?
He's that guy. But Skip, now, in order to be fair to him, if you're judging him by the harshest and saying, well, he won with KD, KD's going to need to win one without Steph Curry to validate what you're trying to say about him. Because I believe there are a lot of people that have Steph Curry ranked higher on the career list than they have Kevin Durant, considering what he did without KD.
Okay. Well, let me tell you this. If Kevin can pull off winning one this year, after what I saw last night in Houston from James Harden in his return to Houston, he's like a shell of himself. I can't see him. I can't recognize him.
I don't know what's going on with him either, Skip.
I don't know. He's starting to look a little old. That's
what he's looking.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, Skip. That's what Kevin Durant needs. I think that's what Kevin Durant wanted to leave. Okay, Skip, he could have stayed in Golden State. There's no question in my mind. With him playing like this, nobody's beating him. No, if Kevin Durant's on Golden State, they're playing like they're playing currently, you're not beating Kevin Durant, Steph Curry. Even if Klay doesn't come back, Klay is only 50% of himself. You're not beating that team. I think Kevin Durant knew in the back of his mind, in order for me to validate who I really am, I got to go outside of Golden State and do it, because I didn't do it in OKC. I was a great player, won an MVP, and people thought I was one of the 2 or 3 best players in all of basketball. Skip, if he wins one in Brooklyn, he wins one without Steph, without Draymond, and without Klay, it would mean more than the 2 that he did win.
But you got to give him this. He took a whole lot of crap for making that choice to leave Russ and go join forces with those guys, and they had him down 3-1 themselves, right?
I'm not so sure that's what the guy in Portland, we're going to talk about that. Okay. That's what he might be afraid of.
Okay, I would agree with that. Bingo, I agree. But remember, Kevin took the weight of the NBA world's pressure on his skinny little shoulders to Golden State. In his first finals, he won MVP, and he outplayed LeBron in that pivotal Game 3 in LeBron's house. And then he turned right around the next year and did it again and won MVP in the finals, outplaying LeBron in Game 3 in his house. So you got to give him that.
Yeah, no, Skip. Okay. That's the thing, though. When you're dealing with great players, I mean, you act like Kevin Durant hadn't been great. He needed to be on a big stage and to prove it. He was there before. LeBron got the better of him. Miami, the Heat with D. Wade and Chris Bosh, they got the better of him. He got back there, and he did it again. And he said, just to make sure you know this wasn't a fluke, he did it again. Now, he wants, because everybody said, well, you joined the best team in basketball. He says, you know what? I could go to the Knicks, and we know the Knicks, the Madison Square Garden is the Mecca. Everybody knows who the Knicks are. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going over here. And I'm going to bring Skip, you know, if he brings a title to Brooklyn, it's worth more than both of the ones that he brought to Golden State. Because they're going to say he didn't have a Steph, a Draymond, and a Klay. And if he does it without Kyrie...
He almost did it last year, except he had a toenail on the 3.
Nah, Giannis wasn't going to let that happen.
Toenail.
Giannis wasn't going to let that happen.
Well, if the toenail's not on the line, Giannis wouldn't have had any say in whether it happened or not.
Old Greek freak.
Yeah, well, that would have freaked him right out of the playoffs.
Antetokounmpo.
Thank you.
Are we sure he's still not the best? I'm just saying. I'm just asking. For a friend. I'm asking for a friend of a friend. He told me, he said, will you ask Skip? Is Giannis still not the best?
He is not the best.
Okay. All right, let's switch back to the NFL and talk about some Sunday Night Football, because Aaron Rodgers is set to play the Bears this weekend for the first time since shouting, "I own you," at their fans after scoring a touchdown earlier this year. And Rodgers doubled down on his comments this week, saying he doesn't regret it at all, and added he's not worried about payback for the act. So, Shannon, did you like that Rodgers has this no regrets attitude about what happened in Chicago earlier this year?
Yeah, I do. I mean, why should he take it back? It's not like they got the 85 Bears. I mean, he done never said that they had 85 Bears, because you already know what was going to happen the next game. No, don't take it back. And he does, Skip. I mean, you looking at it in his career, he's 22-5. Only Brady against Buffalo. I mean, Skip, we don't normally see, and this is a rivalry game.
Brady is 32-3 against the Bills.
Yes!
Will that go to 33-3? That was obviously New England versus the Bills.
Right. Yeah. So and you see these guys twice a year, every year, and Brady was in that division so that's 40. Skip, that's 40 games.
And then Roethlisberger against the Browns is 24-3-1. Go ahead.
So he Big Ben owns the Browns, Brady owns Buffalo, Aaron Rodgers owns Chicago. No, I wouldn't take it back. It's trash talking. He said what he said. The fans booing y'all. Y'all want to be a part of this? Okay, I'm gonna tell you what I do. This is what I do. I own y'all. I own the Bears. So that means I own you guys too. Cause when y'all come up in here, y'all might as well just go. You already know what it is, Skip. So I don't have a problem with Aaron Rodgers. And plus, Skip, what they gonna do? What the Bears gonna do? It's not like they gonna say, oh, and you hear what he said? He owns us. We gonna get him back. He can't do anything. So if I'm not mistaken, I think they're gonna start Justin Fields. I think he's healthy, and I think Matt Nagy said he's gonna start. So
he's coming off 3 cracked ribs.
And Skip, the man's a rookie. The man's a rookie. You without a lot of Akeem Hicks, Khalil Mack. You're without a lot of your best players, Skip. So I wouldn't take it back either. If I know I'm at a decided advantage, I'm not taking it back.
Which is why I would like to congratulate your man, Aaron Rodgers, as the all-time greatest front runner I've ever seen. He can front run with the greatest of them. This was an all-time front-running media session that he gave to us as a gift today to talk about on this show, because he even goes so far as to say, we've gotten the better of them the last, 27, 28 times. That's a little hyperbole because it's not that great because you're 22-5.
Right.
And by the way, you did lose back in 2018 when you had your down year. They went 6-9-1.
Right.
In second to the last week, they went to Chicago and lost 24-17 to Mitchell Trubisky.
Right.
So I don't know if you can gloat quite that much, but this is such front running because Aaron Rodgers is obviously a very bright man, especially when it comes to football. And he's thinking, the rookie's going to come back and play me at Lambeau, and they don't have Khalil Mack, and they don't have Hicks, and there are coaches, by all accounts, about to be gone, right?
Yeah.
And so you're looking at it like, I'm threatened by that?
Why should I take it back?
No, I'm going to just pour it on. I'm going to pour gasoline on this fire.
I said what I said. Basically, he said, I said what I said.
Yeah, and by the way, the Packers are coming off a bye.
Yes.
So and they are about to get Jair Alexander back and Zadarius back. I mean, he fears what?
Yeah.
Nothing.
Bears have lost 6 or 7.
Right.
And they're coming back. A rookie is starting for the first time after 3 games coming off cracked rib. So I'm supposed to be worried about what?
Yeah, I mean, the Bears are effectively in hibernation till next year, right?
Basically.
Because is Matt Nagy, isn't he like day-to-day? Are we just waiting for the announcement to drop?
Yeah. Rodgers hadn't lost to them at home since 2015, Skip. And considering he's only lost 5 times, I'm assuming most of those were probably at Soldier Field. And a lot of those probably when they had Urlacher, they had Peanut Tillman, they had, Skip, they had Lance Briggs. They had a really outstanding defense when he was losing a lot of these games to this ball club.
Okay, so I now officially, publicly dare Aaron Rodgers, if he gets to face Tom Brady again in this postseason as he did last year and also in the regular season last year, I need Aaron Rodgers to have the guts to go discount, double check, championship belt trash talk on Tom Brady before, let's say, an NFC championship game.
You saw him did him at Crinkleberry died there in Tampa last year. You saw him did him at Crinkleberry on y'all, Skip.
And then what happened?
Something bad.
Something really bad because 2 bad things almost happened in a row. 1 pick six and a near pick six on the very next possession. Are you kidding me?
Skip, the Bears brought this on themselves. Their fans.
By the way, the final score of that game was Brady 38, Aaron Rodgers 10 in that game. And then came the NFC Championship game, 31-26 Brady. Brady is 3-1 against Aaron Rodgers.
Did you see Aaron Rodgers in that clip that we showed against the Bears?
No.
Can he do that? Can he do that against Tampa?
Do what?
Run the ball into the end zone.
Oh.
Yeah, you see this right here? Oh, it's amazing.
Huh. Interesting.
Why you ain't trying to pump the ball? Now, we done saw him like he did against the Rams. Remember, he ran against the Rams. That's all you had to do against Tampa. You should have did that against Tampa.
I effing own you?
I mean, dang, you white.
Okay. Good. Congratulations, Aaron. You own the Chicago Bears.
Yeah.
I think
they
you
were
should
talking
sell
to fans.
that stock.
The fans brought this on themselves.
And I'm glad you brought up what happened in the NFC Championship game because it was 1st and goal at the 8. This is your time to shine, Aaron. Here you go. Wait, what was that?
Well, I don't know why he was throwing that
to
ball.
Lazard. That missed him by 10 yards. And then second down, second goal. It's to Devontae, and it's just an airmail shot.
Skip, this
and
is
then
the
third and goal. Here we go. Third
Step
goal.
Okay, pump fake, Skip.
No, I don't know. Could he outrun Devin White? He might have gotten the first down. I'll give you that.
Skip.
If you just get the first down, you got a shot.
If you notice what he always does, when he starts to run, he always pumps fakes. You remember what he got Jalen Ramsey with the pump fake.
He did.
3 times this year, he's pump fake. That's normally what he does.
He can't run the way he used to run.
No,
go ahead.
But that's why you pump fake, get him to think, like, okay, he might throw the ball, let me jump up. And that's just enough to give you the edge. That's all he had to do. And when you get close, Skip, in a championship game, you lay out. You throw caution to the wind.
Okay.
I'm Superman in this one.
Really?
Yeah. For a chance to get to the Super Bowl? Absolutely.
Really? And then I saw a young coach. He's almost as young as Aaron is. Matt LaFleur said on 4th down, he said, 4th and goal from the 8. I've seen enough. We're going to kick the field goal. Well, wait a second. You're going to kick the field goal? It's going to make it 31-26. Really?
Yeah.
Well, that's showing no faith in the all-time greatest front runner, right?
Skip, the man said what he said.
Yep.
Now, it's up to the Bears to back to say, you know what? Now, the Bears win this game.
Bears? Like, they can't back it up. Way to go. Congratulations, Aaron. You're the man.
It's bad for the Bears right now. Yeah, but it ain't going well for them.
No mercy. Don't miss your chance to win $30,000 of Terry Bradshaw's money tonight playing Fox Bet Super 6. The Thursday Night Football jackpot has been hit 5 times this season, and you could be the next lucky winner. Scan the QR code now. Answer 6 questions about Steelers-Vikings for your shot to win. It is free to play. Now, Tiger Woods announced that he is going to play in next week's PNC Championship with his 12-year-old son, Charlie. The event is a 36-hole tournament for major winners and a family member, and it will mark Tiger's first competitive golf event since nearly losing his leg in a car crash this past February. So, Skip, how surprised were you when you heard he was going to play in this tournament?
I was dumbfounded. I got chill bumps. I said, this is a flat-out miracle that only one man could pull off, and it's that man. I remind everyone, as Alex just said, it was just last February 23rd that Tiger Woods, at the wheel of a vehicle going downhill that reached 85 miles an hour, either fell asleep or lost consciousness, crashed through a median out here in the Los Angeles area, rolled his vehicle down basically a cliff, obviously totaled it, nearly killed himself, and could have killed somebody else because he went right across oncoming traffic.
Right.
And in the process of this, he fractured his tibia and his fibula and his ankle and his foot so badly that they considered, according to Tiger, amputation of his right leg. He wound up with a rod in the tibia and all sorts of screws and pins all the way down the rest of his leg into his foot to hold it all together.
Yep.
I also remind you, at that moment, he was coming off his 5th back surgery.
Right.
He's had spinal fusion, and if you know back surgeries, if you go that far, you got big problems.
Yeah.
And you usually never, ever come back even from that,
right,
especially in a sport that requires torquing around the spine.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to play with a bad back,
I'd say. And to hit it as far as he used to hit it.
Right.
That, and I've said to you on this show before that Tiger Woods has suffered more injuries than most NFL players suffer in their career. Because I remind everyone, he had a ruptured ACL, no fun. He had a ruptured Achilles tendon, even less fun.
The ACL was on the U.S. Open, right? Isn't that when he...
Well, it was just after that. But that was from running with, like, military boots on.
But what did he... Remember he beat Rocco Mediate? He had something going on.
That was a stress fracture in his right... it would be the tibia. Yes, he had a stress fracture in his tibia and beat Rocco in a playoff where he's limping around for the whole tournament.
Yes.
Okay, we already... Yeah, okay, that's enough. He's had surgical procedures on his elbow and his neck. What? It's impossible. And yet, when he suffered this near-fatal crash, I don't know how he walked away from it, because it's a miracle he's walking, period.
Right.
He was in a wheelchair for at least 3 months.
We say he was bedridden for 3 months, yeah.
And now you're telling me, as I told you, that this all-time golfer warrior, he's the greatest warrior ever played the game of golf, which isn't exactly a warrior's game, right? He's come all the way back in less than a year to play in an event. Let me tell you, even though he calls it a hit and giggle kind of a tournament, it's for major champions who get to play with a family member. He has chosen his now 12-year-old son, Charlie. He's you want to talk about a golf swing? He's got a better swing than his father ever had, to my eye. But the point is, it's on television. It will now have the build-up that major championships have, such as the PGA, which is considered the fourth major. It'll be almost bigger than the PGA in just hype, because it's Tiger Woods out there. It's on television. Everybody can watch it. And yeah, you hit, you can giggle if you miss a shot, but they count, they keep score. He and Charlie finished 7th last year, and knowing this guy, they'll win it this year somehow. and Tiger does have a huge advantage, because Charlie at 12 gets to hit from the most forward tees. And he hits it so far that you get to choose which drive you play. And on 15 of the 16 holes they played in the first round last year, they used Charlie's drive, because he's hitting it way farther than Tiger can from the back tee, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm all ears, I'm all eyes. I will be watching on December 18th and 19th, because this is a story, and only one man could have pulled this off, and it's Eldrick Tiger Woods.
And that's why I'm not as surprised to you, because as you mentioned, the one guy that could have made this possible is one Eldrick Tiger Woods, because of what he's gone through. And you mentioned it, Skip, golf is not a contact or a collision sport. And he's having surgeries like he's been involved in collisions. Now, this last one, it was a collision. It was the vehicle in the side of a mountain. And for him to come back, Skip, you're absolutely right. It's nothing short of a miracle. But I automatically assume, Skip, anytime I hear bring your kid to work day, ain't no work getting done. And because of what he's gone through, they're not going to be as critical if Tiger doesn't hit a shot 300 yards. They're going to like, man, look what he came back from. I'm surprised he's even out there. So he has that going for him. And he's playing with his 12-year-old son, Skip. And so I think that because it's not, he can use a cart. So it's a lot.
Helps a little bit. I agree.
Yeah,
trust me on this. There's still humiliation factor. It's on national TV.
It is, Skip. But I think when you're coming off that and you could have died, there's nothing you can't humiliate me. There's nothing you can say. There's no swing that I can hit. I can hit one of those Morikawa. I saw him had a 5-shot lead, Skip, and he started spraying it. And I'm like, bro, you look like me the one a couple of times that I've been out there.
That was at Tiger's namesake tournament.
I say, you look like your boy, Colin. Even if Tiger were to hit a couple like that, Skip, it's going to be all forgiven. Because like you said, the mere fact the man almost had his leg amputated. He almost lost his life. And to be back 10 months, like you said, it was February. Here we are in December. What? So less than a year.
I would have bet so much against this.
Yeah.
Because it's hard to hit a golf ball when you've hit one the way he does, especially the length at which he used to hit it. Well, now they'll be measuring his drive. They'll be saying on national TV, well, Tiger only hit that 204 yards. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But will he giggle? Yeah. Okay, because he's still alive and he's still afloat and he's still out there.
Skip, you remember he said it last week. He showed himself he was hitting balls 2.5 weeks ago, Skip. And he says it's very humbling to hit a ball and see it fall out the sky a lot shorter than what it used to.
Yep.
I mean, and you got think about that's what anybody. Skip, that's what any professional athlete.
You also got to trust me on this. He's hitting the ball well enough that he's pretty sure he's not going to be embarrassed.
Exactly.
Because if he were just a joke of himself, he wouldn't do this.
He's
got too much pride. No, he's not. Trust me, he's still getting it out there 250 plus.
Yeah.
Just where he won't embarrass himself with length. Will he hit a bad shot in the water on the par 3? He
probably
might. But he is out there for his son. He named him after the great African-American golfer Charlie Sifford. And this kid looks like he's going to be something. And
Right.
so I think Tiger's going to try to just get lost in the pride of watching his son up close and personal.
Yeah, Skip, but it's hard. It's kind of like Bronny. I mean, look who your dad is, and look who Charlie Woods, look who your dad is. How do you compete with that? Because everybody, your dad would have put that thing 5 feet from the pin. Your dad would have done it.
Charlie did not look afraid.
No.
Boy, he was good last year.
He's young enough to know what he doesn't know.
That is true. Blissful ignorance.
Exactly.
Yep.
But I'm happy to see Tiger out there. Skip, and it's a difference. People like, Ben Hogan, Mr. Hogan came back, but he was almost 10 years younger than Tiger.
He was.
And he hadn't had the injuries that Tiger had before he had this.
Yep. I once did a story with Mr. Hogan talking about those 36 holes that he played on the Sunday at Marion.
Right.
With near crippled legs, because they didn't get a card, obviously.
No.
So when they used to play 36 holes, 2 rounds of 18 on Sunday, and he had to walk in hot, humid weather,
Right.
and he lived to tell.
Right.
Okay. So, but to your point, 10 years younger. And Tiger on December 30th, happy birthday to him and to your guy.
Yep.
Right? He turns 46 years of age. So that's not a young pup anymore.
No, and considering all the injuries that he had prior to that, Skip.
Yep.
I don't remember Mr. Hogan, but as hard for me, I don't remember people saying that he had major surgeries prior to that horrible bus
I don't
crash.
think he had any.
Right, exactly. So when you got rods in your back, you already had ACL, you'd have stress fracture, elbow surgery, all.
I mean, is this body not
Yes.
a medical marvel?
Yeah, they might need I don't know how they got him pieced together.
Hey, Dr. Elatrage has done some major miracle work here, right?
Yes.
Whew.
But so I'm happy to see him out there. I know he's going to have a good time. I think just the mere fact, Skip, that he's going to be out there on the golf course. Because I guarantee you, there are many days that he laid in that bed or he was sitting in that wheelchair. He's like, I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to get out here.
Correct. Does this bode well for Augusta National in April?
It does.
It does.
It does.
I'm not going to bet against him taking a run at it. He says now he's just going to have to pick and choose the occasional tournament.
I think he's picking. I think he's going to choose that one.
He would.
That's what I think. Yep. I think everything is probably going to be around the majors or maybe the Arnold Palmer or the Jacks tournament up Skip, the Memorial. Mm-hmm. I think everything is going to kind of be around those tournaments. I think he said 5 or 6. Well, you got 4 majors. You got the Arnold Palmer. You got the Jack tournament, the Memorial.
Yep.
I'm thinking that's probably going to be it, Skip.
God bless you, man.
Yeah.
No mercy.
Dominique Wilkins spoke with The Athletic about what it was like to play against Michael Jordan, and one story stood out. On a night with MJ dropped 61 points in a loss to the Hawks, Jordan apparently went into Atlanta's locker room before the game and warned his opponents, quote, "Lace him up, it's going to be a long, bleeping night." Shannon, what does this story tell you?
Nothing. It tells me that what we've always known, that Michael was a great competitor, but he wasn't the only great competitor. Magic, Bird, Isaiah were great competitors also. Isaiah did the very thing that Tom Brady has done every time he's lost a Super Bowl. Refused to shake the opposing quarterback's hand. Isaiah lost to Jordan in the 91. Lost to him. Wouldn't shake his hand. He was ostracized. Skip Bayless say, you show me a good loser, I show you a loser. Isaiah was so upset that they had lost, he refused to shake Jordan's hand, and they ostracized him for it, they criticized him for it, and they kept him off the dream team for that.
What does that have to do with this?
But I'm just saying, competitiveness. Somehow, Michael Jordan, it seems like every time somebody starts to play somebody's got to come out, some old guy got to come out of the woodworks and talk about what Jordan did. So, what about Bird? Was Bird not competitive, Skip?
Yep, he was.
Let me tell you what Bird did. Bird did one night, he played the Portland Trailblazers. He didn't shoot a shot with his right hand. He scored 47 using only his left hand. And they asked him why he shot only with his left hand. He says, I'm saving the right one for the Lakers. He was one steal in the three quarters, he was one steal away from having a quadruple double. Casey Jones begged him to go back in the game. He said, you're only one steal away from a quadruple double. He said, I've done enough damage already. Is that not, come on, Skip. This notion that Michael Jordan has a patent on competitiveness. Because if he did, Skip, why wasn't he 14-0? In the playoffs? Why didn't he win all the championships? So it's always like they're trying to, like, if anybody get close, LeBron has a couple of good scoring streaks. KD, somebody's doing something. It's like the old guard want to hold on to that and said, man, these young guys coming. But let me go tell you a story about how great Michael was. We know Mike was great. We know he's extremely competitive. The only difference is LeBron James and Kevin Durant doesn't have to sock someone in the eye to show that they're competitive. So for me, this story told me nothing that I didn't already know, a story that I hadn't already heard. These guys today are just as competitive. They want to win just as bad as Michael wanted to. So this notion that Michael Jordan wanted to win worse than anybody else is just not true.
He didn't want to win any more than anybody else. He just did win more than anybody else.
No, he didn't.
Else.
There are a lot of guys. A lot of Celtics have more championships than Michael Jordan.
6-0 with 6 Finals MVPs.
Well, Bill Russell's 11-1. They didn't have Finals MVPs back then because I'm sure he would have won a bunch of them.
So here we go again. Another day, another legendary Michael Jordan story. What you fail to recognize or give into is these stories all shed light on the fact, once again, that he was the ultimate competitor. A lot of people competed hard. Larry Bird was pretty cold-blooded himself, but this was the ultimate competitor because nobody did things like this. And as Dominique said, and I'm sure it hurt Dominique to acknowledge this publicly, Dominique was pretty cold-blooded himself, but he said, you're playing against a killer who wants to win at any cost. Mike was a killer. He wanted to take your heart. But I had the same mentality. I wanted to take your heart, whoever was guarding me. And the point of this story was Dominique had the upper hand that night because his team was really good. They were about to finish 57-25. And they did lose to Detroit in the semifinals, in the playoffs. But Jordan's team was only 40-42 that year. This is 1987, April of 87. So the audacity, or Dominique used another word for it, the guts or the you-know-whats, to walk into the opposing locker room before the game and walk up to poor Randy Whitman, who I think Michael believed would be guarding him for much of the night, and just tap him on the leg and say, hey, lace him up. It's going to be a long bleeping night.
Right.
Say it right to his face, coming off games that Michael had scored 53-50, and then here came 61 that night. 53-50 and then 61. He was just unstoppable. Dominique actually prevailed in the game and hit a shot over Jordan to win the game 117-114. But the point was, he was then in awe of just the raw audacity of that guy walking in our locker room, and he's still laughing about it. He said it was the most amazing thing to see because I'd never seen anybody do anything like that. Well, Jordan just kept doing things like that, which is why he's clearly the GOAT. It's just another GOAT story, and LeBron can't compete with this because LeBron doesn't have cold-blooded killer in it. LeBron has never done anything like this.
First of all, I don't even know if they'll let you go in the locker room now because the way things have gotten out of hand, they have security. And so people are not going into other people's locker room. But I'm sure there are stories of Kobe. Kobe dropped 61 in 3 quarters. Kobe had an 81-point game. Kobe had like a stretch where he lost his mind with the scoring. Skip, this notion that because Mike was 6-0, and everybody has these stories, it's somehow that Michael is more competitive. That's not the case. So in other words, because Elon Musk has the most money, he's more competitive than Jeff Bezos. He's more competitive than that. No, he's not. He's not. So,
no, but you're connecting dots that don't connect.
No, you're saying just because he's 6-0, he's more competitive.
No,
that's
because
not
he did
true.
Things like this.
So because he didn't talk about it, look at Phillip Rivers. You go look at the thing, Phillip Rivers, all he's doing is talking trash to everybody. D lineman, cornerbacks, linebacker, you terrible. Oh, he got the...
And he backed it up with how many Super Bowls?
You see, but hold on. Tom Brady don't do no trash talking. All Tom Brady says is, let's go.
I don't know. He'll talk back. If you start it, he'll finish it.
But Michael Jordan started it. So you can't say that. You see, you have a different argument. All I'm saying, Tip, Michael Jordan is great. 80s, we know he was great, but you're telling stories doesn't diminish Kevin Durant. It does not diminish LeBron James or Steph Curry. I don't know if you're trying to hold on to that era because these guys are coming. That's just the way it goes, Skip. If you look at it, I'm sure guys try to hold on to Wilt and Russell and West and guys are trying to, everybody believes their era was the best. I'm one of the few.
It's your era.
Skip, I'm good, Skip. Let Gronk, let these guys, Skip, I did what I did. I got everything I could out of my ability. By them being great doesn't diminish me.
You ever heard one story like this about LeBron James? I haven't.
Just because you done here doesn't mean it diminishes. He's not competitive. Why must somebody go into somebody else's locker room to do that? I didn't hear no story about LT doing that. But was LT not great? LT and Reggie White was as different as they come. Was Reggie not dominant?
Yeah, but it's hard for him. It's a different game of football where you can't dominate because you don't have the ball in your hands.
Yes, you can
dominate.
Reggie could. So LT ain't dominate?
No, but not like if you're the quarterback and you went in the other locker room and said, you, and you, get ready. I'm about to throw a party on you.
You know why a quarterback wouldn't do that? Because he know they would put a bound on his head and they'd knock him out the game in the first quarter.
Okay. But maybe somebody would have the audacity to do that and just say, I'm going to back it up. Brady's not built quite like that, but he backs it up.
I was one of the few guys that talked the whole while knowing I was putting myself, I'm going to have to go across the middle. I knew guys were going to take cheap shots at me, Skip, but I'm going to talk, I'm going to do it. Quarterback, they not built like that, Skip. Ain't no quarterback going to go, ain't no quarterback, oh, I'm going to throw a touchdown on you, I'm going to throw a touchdown on you, and I'm going to run a quarterback sneak on you. You're not going to do that. Because defensive guys are not, well, they're going to knock you out of the game. That's just the way it is. They're wired to knock you out of the game.
Yeah.
Skip, somehow it's because, like, because LeBron doesn't do things like this, we think he's less competitive. Because other guys didn't do things like this, we feel they're less competitive. It's hard for me to imagine that Magic Johnson is just competitive in his fans. I'm just as competitive as a businessman as I was a basketball player. He and Isaiah was best friends. Isaiah came down the lane and Magic knocked him out of the air, put that forearm right up on his chin.
Yep. Okay. Got it.
Is that not competitive? My best friend. I got something for you. Come down the lane. I got something for you. I've been waiting on you the whole series.
We're talking about cold-blooded killer. I'll tell you I'm going to kill you, and then I'm going to kill you. That's what he did.
Well, he only killed 6 people. He's been in the league 15 years. What happened to the other 9?
Pretty good.
What happened to the other 9? So 9 people got away. 9 people got away.
Yeah.
9 teams got away. He ain't killed a man, but he ain't killed the big 3 Celtics. Why did he tell Larry that? Don't do the Hawks.
Speaking of Larry Bird, who was your childhood idol.
Yeah.
I will give you that Larry Bird was about the closest to this kind of audacity as anybody I ever covered, because the classic Larry Bird story, and I was there, though not in the locker room at this point, but it was the 1986 All-Star Weekend in Dallas, Texas.
Three-point competition.
And it was the three-point competition, and in one locker room, they had all the competitors lacing them up, and Larry walked in, looked around at his competitors and said, which one of you, and I cannot say the word, which one of you is going to finish second?
Right.
Asking them to their faces, and they sat and took it. And you know what happened at the end? He held up his finger as the last ball was in the air. And
I don't think he took his sweat jacket. This was a sweat top. If that's what he didn't take his sweat top off.
So that's nearly equivalent to this, but this was a real basketball game in which he just telegraphed what was going to happen. You're going to be in for a long night.
Yeah, well, Larry do the same thing. Larry said it was disrespectful if you put a white guy. So y'all put him on me? Coach, y'all put him on me.
He would. But Larry didn't go 6-0 in the finals because he kept running into this guy, Magic Johnson.
And yeah, guess what? Magic and Jordan didn't go nothing in the 80s because guess what? That guy that you talking about, he was there. And the guy in the West, Magic, he was there.
So who was better, Magic or Michael Jordan?
In the 80s or the 90s?
In career.
In the 80s. In the 80s.
I need to hear you say this.
In the 80s.
Better, Magic or Michael Jordan?
Skip, all I know is that this here. Hold on.
Better, Bird or Michael?
All I know.
Bird or Michael? I need you on record.
Bird got the who won most games? Head to head. You said head to head matter. That's what you told me.
Better player, Michael or Magic? Michael or Larry Bird?
I'm just asking you a question.
Or Kobe?
Skip, I'm just asking you a question.
Michael or Kareem? Better player?
Did I just want to know if you answer me this? I'm gonna answer your question. Did Michael Jordan play in the 80s? How many championships of those 6 came in the 80s? That many?
Okay, you're going to answer my question? None. I answered yours.
Okay. Michael Jordan was a better player than Magic. He was a better player than Larry. He was a better player than Isaiah. LeBron James is the
Kobe?
GOAT. Yeah.
Kareem?
Yeah.
Yep, thank you.
But you know who the GOAT is.
No, you said Michael was the GOAT.
No. I said Michael was better than those players. I said LeBron James. LeBron Ramon James, a.k.a. GOAT James.
You mean the guy who has often been the mentally weakest superstar we've ever seen?
Hey.
The guy who melted down in the 2011 finals? Speaking of Dallas?
20 years. We've been doing this for 20 years.
He melted down.
Your guy had to take time off.
Did Michael ever melt down in any of those series?
Yeah, your guy melted down and took time off, took 2 years off, and then took another 3 years off. My guy been going strong.
Yeah. My guy, when he was just a baby, second year in the league, he goes to Boston Garden for game 1 of the first round of the playoffs. And it goes to overtime, and Larry Bird, after the game, the great Larry Bird said, I think I just saw God in sneakers.
He was a baby?
God in sneakers.
He was a 22-year-old baby? My guy was 17. My guy was a 17-year-old baby paying bills. Your guy at 17 was getting stamps sent to him by his mom. Your guy was doing laundry in a dorm. My guy had his own place, was paying bills.
My guy stayed 3 years at North Carolina and got stopped by the only man who ever stopped him, his own coach, Dean Smith.
My guy was so good, college couldn't hold him. My guy was so good, college couldn't hold him.
Well, you didn't go to college.
That's what, college wasn't good enough for him. He said, why would I waste my time with college? That's like Einstein. What would Einstein learn in school when he's smarter than anybody that could possibly teach him? What could he possibly learn?
He has the highest IQ I've ever seen. Basketball IQ.
My guy got the highest talent you ever seen.
Really?
You just won't admit it.
But your guy, wait a second. He got saved by Ray Allen.
Don't do that, Skip.
Don't
legacy,
do that. How do you need to get your legacy saved? Michael never needed his legacy saved.
See what you did. Now, you tell me when Adam Vinatieri kicked a field goal, he was just doing his job.
Well, he was.
Okay, Ray Allen was just doing his job. Does Ray Allen not have the most three-point field goals made? Okay, he was doing his job.
That shot, if we could see.
There you go. Why you always got to pull this shot out?
This is the one that saved LeBron's legacy.
Man, you a hater.
And shot me right.
You a hater.
LeBron missed. He missed the game tire. And look at this. At the buzzer. How can you do this to me? How can we not get the rebound? Those are my Spurs. That's basically. Hold on. That was it.
Hold on. You say LeBron missed that shot?
Yep.
In the game, in the story that we're talking about, when Dominique and Jordan. Can you tell the people at home? Dominique hit a shot with 11 seconds on the clock to put him up.
Yeah.
Can you tell the people at home who missed the shot that cost the Chicago Bulls? Who took the final shot for the Bulls?
Well, you needed a 3.
They had the three-point line existed in 1979.
Yeah.
It came into effect. Chris Ford made the very first one.
1987.
Oh, so the three-point line was in existence.
Jordan probably shot 5 in the whole year.
I don't know how many he shot. I just know he missed the final shot. That's what we do know. Everything else is conjecture. Everything else is speculation or innuendo. This is fact. He missed the final shot. The Hawks won the game in the highlight factory.
All I know is that my Spurs did get revenge the next year, 2014, over LeBron and company because they won the finals by a record finals margin in 5 games over LeBron. How did LeBron lose in 5 games to the Spurs?
I know a guy that got swept. I know a guy that got swept.
Oh, I did too. LeBron did by the Spurs.
He got swept where?
2007.
He got swept where?
Finals.
Okay, your guy got swept where? First round. See, only you and Michael Jordan fans can say, you know what, it is a blasphemy that you get swept in the finals, but it's a crowning achievement to get swept in the first round by the Big Three Celtics. Only you can make that argument.
With a team that was like 8 games under 500 regular season, Jordan's team. They got swept by the Celtics.
How can you if you're the GOAT, you can't. You tell me all the time, if LeBron James is the GOAT, he can't get swept.
He had missed most of the year with a broken foot.
I don't, Skip. So was his foot broken when he played?
He just was coming off it.
No. His foot, Larry Bird's foot was broke. He broke it off in Jordan's butt. 3-0.
God in sneakers, said Larry Bird.
He got swept twice, and then he won 1 game. He got lucky and won 1 game against the Bucks.
Do you remember how many points Jordan scored in Game 1 at the Garden against Larry Bird's team? And that could have been one of the greatest teams ever. That could have been the greatest team ever. That team was on the way to winning the finals.
But guess who?
Against Magic.
Guess who all the projections and all the things says who's the greatest team ever? It wasn't one of the Celtics. It was the 2017 or 2018 Warriors that LeBron James faced.
I would take Larry Bird and company over that team any day or night. Cold-blooded killer.
That's all I'm saying.
Yep.
KD, you tell me KD and Steph Curry. That's what LeBron was up against. And he went against them one time by himself. By himself.
This kind of story must hurt LeBron.
It hurt how?
Yeah. This poor LeBron. He just doesn't have anything like this.
No.
Nothing legendary.
No. All LeBron James does is comes out every night and does what he does.
No mercy.
Tom Brady can add another award to his mantle after being named Sports Illustrated 2021 Sports Person of the Year. TV12 joins Tiger and LeBron as the award's only two-time winners. And in the article, he discussed what it's like playing as a 44-year-old quarterback, saying, quote, "There are parts of me that are 55, and I think there's parts of me that are 25. It's a demolition derby every Sunday. I feel 25 when I'm in the locker room with the guys, which is probably why I still do it." So, Shannon, do these comments in the article indicate that Brady will retire after the season?
No, because Brady's life is football. And he knows there's nothing else outside of football that gives him the enjoyment, the fulfillment that preparing for football gives him, Skip. And you've heard everybody say it, Skip. You've been around this game and you when guys would come on your show and on this show, they talk about what they miss, Skip, the locker room. They miss the camaraderie. They don't necessarily miss the playing. They don't necessarily miss the meeting, but it's just the camaraderie that they have with the guys in the locker room, the bus ride, the plane rides, knowing that you're never going to be around that many guys again in your life on a day-to-day basis. And so Brady's life has been filled with football. Nothing. He can't play enough golf. He can't get good enough at golf in order to give him what football is giving him. That competitiveness, that desire. I need to prepare for this. He knows once it's over, it's over. And so he's gonna ride this thing, he's gonna squeeze this orange until every last bit of juice pulp is out. He's not going anywhere anytime soon. Skip, I'm not surprised. There's some things in there that I'm not surprised to hear. Skip, winning is a drug. And don't let anybody tell you that it's not. And the thing is that when you win as much as Brady has, it doesn't have the same, being a drug addict, I guess, you can't get that same high that you got initially. So that's what Brady's tracing. He could have gotten it, Skip, but it eluded him. That 19-0 would have given him that ultimate high, Skip. He's chasing that. And so he's like, I don't get the same. It's not that I'm excited. It's more of a relief. Because, Skip, when you win, it's like when you win the Super Bowl the first time, you're like, man, we did it. And then you win it 2, 3, 4, 5. Skip, it does. Yeah, you're happy. Yeah, you're excited because you know the work that goes into it. But Skip, it doesn't have the same meaning. And he says the losses, it hurt. Yes, you know why losing hurts, Skip, for Tom Brady so much? Because he knows how much time he puts into it. When you put so much your hard work, your heart, your love, that's why some relationships hurt more than others. When you've invested that much time, that much energy, and that person tells you, no, well, we got to go. Well, Skip, the game tells you when you lose that game, it wasn't your day-to-day. It hurts. And the more you've invested, the more it hurts. So I can empathize and I feel what Tom is talking about the wins and losses. But Skip, he's not going anywhere anytime soon because there's nothing that he's found. And he's been searching more so now, Skip, trying to find something that can quench what football quenches, and he hasn't found it. So, Skip, he's going to be around for a little while longer.
Much to your chagrin.
Well, at least I got somebody to beat up. I got you to beat up on for another 2 years, then.
Okay, so he opened his heart in many of these quotes and bled all over the page right here.
Yep.
So Tom Brady says, it's just a constant pursuit of trying not to be bad. At 44, that's true. It comes down to that. Every day, in every way, you're just trying to beat Father Time. So you're just, I can't be bad, I can't be bad.
Right.
So you're fighting against it because you're not getting any younger. And the competition is all getting younger and younger and younger every year.
Yep.
And you're saying, I just can't be bad because if I decide I'm bad, I'm going home.
Right.
That's what he's saying. But he hasn't decided that.
Right.
The flip side of that was that he said, I imagine sitting on Sunday watching football on TV. But he said his greatest fear is that I would watch a game and say, I could do way better than that.
Skip.
Right now, he thinks he can do way better than most guys can do.
Skip, how many times have you heard me come in here since we've been doing this show? Skip, I can catch better. I can play better than him right now.
Okay.
Skip, everybody, that's just the way it is.
You have to pay prices to even get on the football field to be better.
Yes.
Right? Okay. So then to your point, he talked about now it's to the point where anytime he loses, it's so depressing to him. He gets demoralized where he goes and just curls up in bed overnight. It's hard to even go to sleep. And yet when he wins, now to your point, there's no real joy in it. It's just like, oh, God, we survived that one, right? I'm sure if they win Sunday against Buffalo, he'll go home and say, okay, now we're 10-3.
Right.
But we got to keep on keeping on because it's not going to get, here comes New Orleans, and now we got to do this, we got to do that. We got another playoff run to go through, right?
Yep.
Okay, but when he says there's no real joy in winning, where I'm with you and I'm with he's going to keep on keeping on, you don't think he got joy out of winning that 7th Super Bowl last year?
Yeah.
While Belichick was coming all apart up in New England and he'd left him for dead up there, and in a pandemic year on a torn MCL, he goes with the team that was 7-9 and wins the Super Bowl against my homeboy. You don't think that could that have maybe given him the greatest joy of his life?
I think what it did, Skip, is that it gave him joy for people that had never experienced that before.
Well, that's another point.
Because he cares so much about his teammates.
Maybe joy's the wrong word for him, but you don't think that was deep satisfaction against Belichick?
It was validation. Because I've been trying to tell y'all. Y'all didn't want to give me no credit for what I did in the locker room.
Okay.
And what I brought to the table. So this is validation for what now I took my talent somewhere else, and look, we're having success. They're not having success over there.
Okay, I got it. So in the end, he said, it's like hitting the perfect 7-iron. Well, there I can finally relate to Tom Brady because every once in a while, I hit one. The other day at Brentwood Country Club, I hit one into the wind on number 17, into that ocean wind, and it was a little chilly, and it was just as pure as I could hit it. And it winds up 6 feet away. I missed the birdie putt, but the feeling of it, I am clutch.
No, you're not clutch.
When I get hot.
You're not clutch.
You don't want to mess
I'd have
with
made that one. 6 foot from the club, I made that one.
What, by blowing on it?
No, 6 foot from the club. I ain't missing no 6 footer, Skip.
You're not going to miss the 6 footer. You don't even play golf. You have no idea what you're talking about.
I know I would have made that shot.
Well, the point is, there is something like nirvana feeling of when you catch it pure and perfectly and you watch it fly into the wind, you say, how did I do that? I don't know, because I can't do it again the next shot.
Right.
But I know I'm capable, so I keep, as he said, you keep chasing. Well, he'll throw maybe 1 or 2 passes a game, maybe just 1 pass a game to Mike Evans on a deep ball, and he'll say, God, that was perfect.
Right.
That came out of my hand beautifully.
Right.
And it hit him right there. And I read it perfectly, and it came out on time, on rhythm, and he caught it for a touchdown, and he keeps chasing that feeling because you want to talk about addiction? That's addiction.
It is, Skip, but here's the thing. What Tom has to understand, but there's a variable on every play that's different. Like you said, it was the wind. But what happens if it's a crosswind? You hit the same perfect shot in a crosswind. Now, all of a sudden, the perfect shot that you hit...
It's in the sand.
Exactly. Right. Okay, Tom throws the perfect pass. He's going to throw the perfect... he lines up, his depth is perfect. Somebody misses his block. Now, all of a sudden, the guy he throws the perfect pass, and he drops it. Now, all that's gone away, so... It's not perfect.
I agree, especially when you're playing quarterback. There's so many moving parts. They're everywhere. They're actually 21 moving parts on a play that you can't really control. Right?
I think the thing is, Skip, is that I heard a little bit of the man in the arena. And they're talking about the perfect season. And I heard he talk, and I heard Randy Moss talk, and I heard Teddy Bruschi was talking about it. And you hear the hurt. Skip, you hear me talk about losing that divisional game to Jacksonville.
Mark Brunell.
Can you imagine? Skip, you're 18-0. You're on the cusp. There's no more questions. Who's the greatest team of all time? There's nothing to debate.
Well, Tom has dropped hints that I might have retired after that. I don't buy it for a second, but that was it. That was Valhalla. That's history.
Skip, that was the perfect scenario that Tom was chasing. That was, Skip, perfect. You think about it, 50 touchdowns, unanimous MVP. We're 18-0. We win this. We won all the awards. Randy Moss is comeback player of the year. Touchdown record in a single season. Coach Belichick is NFL coach of the year. He got everything. That was perfection, and it eluded him. And I don't know if he's never going to, I don't believe there'll ever be a
Remember, it eludes him in large part because of a helmet catch by David Tyree.
That's what he's saying. He's looking at the ball floating in the air, and he catches the ball on his effing helmet. But Skip, sometimes you can be perfect.
Yep.
And it's just not in the cards for you that day. It just wasn't in the cards that David Tyree is never, ever. You go throw David Tyree 100 balls, and he'll never catch a ball like that again.
Never.
It's not like he was wide open. Rodney Harrison was tugging on him. And the ball still didn't touch the ground.
Nope. Conversely, you might throw Asante Samuel 100 balls that could be intercepted, and he might catch 90 of them.
He gonna catch 95 of those.
95. I'll give you 95. But on that one, he jumped a little too soon, and he started to come down just as the ball reached its apogee right there, and he couldn't hold on.
He had to hold on. But a lot of what he's talking about in this, Skip, I totally understand. When you invest, when you eat like Tom does, when you sleep like Tom does, when you deny yourself and you deny your family things that you know you should be doing, and when it doesn't work out, it hurts. It hurts. I don't know how guys could lose, Skip, and want to go be seen. I couldn't. I grabbed something on the way home. I'm going home. I want to just be by myself. I didn't want to see anybody. And when you win, when we started winning, it's like, It didn't feel the same like that first one. And so for me, I understand a lot of what Tom is saying, and I get also, Skip, retired and looking like, man, I could do that right now. I totally could do that right now. But Tom, get ready. You're going to be 60, and you're going to be saying, you know what? I can play better than what he can play right now.
So I think you just explained why you duck out so quickly after every show we do together because you don't want to be seen.
I'll be breaks off you. I know I go out there. I'll be, hey, they be waiting, be speaking. Hey, how you doing, Shannon? Great show today. You got him again. I'm like, yeah, I know it.
I think you go home and just sit in the dark and just say, how could I do that? How could I get shamed like that?
Nah, but Skip, look, he deserved this award. I can't think of someone that
I agree with that.
No mercy.
Sunday on Fox, the fight for the NFC East continues as Dak leads the Cowboys into a huge showdown against Taylor Heineke in Washington. Catch it only on Fox and the Fox Sports app. Check local listings for the game in your area. Now, as Ezekiel Elliott practiced fully yesterday, he told reporters that the Cowboys would have to, quote, drag me off the field to get him to miss time for his injured knee. Team doctors have apparently said his knee can't get any worse, and everyone expects him to be back to normal in 3 to 4 weeks for the playoff run. So, Shannon, does this validate your opinion that the Cowboys should shut him down for a couple of games?
Yeah, Skip, I believe they should shut him down, Skip, because I believe he's going to be more important. He'll be more important for them during the playoffs. I believe they're going to win this division. I believe they can have an opportunity to go, maybe win, at least a game if Zeke is healthy. He's not healthy. So I think the best course of action for them, Skip, I would have sat him down at least for the Washington game, let him have that long week, set him down for the Washington game, and possibly reevaluate him after the Washington game and see how he feels after that situation. But I've never heard of an injury healing through playing NFL football. Oh, Skip, I love it. Well, you can't make it any worse, but can I get it healthier? Can I heal it by playing? No, but you can't make it worse. But I'm not trying to make it worse, Skip. I'm not trying to stay the same. I'm trying to get better. You do realize I'm hurt. You do realize this knee is bothering me. You telling me I can't make it worse, but I want to get better. So how do I make it better? Well, you took some time off, it would help. Okay, then, just say that. Don't tell me, well, I can't make it worse by playing on it, but can I make it better by playing on it? Because at the end of the day, isn't that what we're trying to do? We're trying to get guys healthy back. That's what we try to do. Guys are injured. We want to get them back. Okay, we give them some time off. So for me, Skip, I believe they would be better served. Let Michael Gallup, I think they got a practice squad running. I'm almost certain they got practice squad running back. Let those guys do it. Skip, you should have enough with Dak, with Amari, with CD, with Gallup, with Schultz, with Pollard, and a backup. That offensive line, Skip, that should be enough. And considering the way your defense is playing, Skip, that should be enough to give Zeke at least a week or maybe 2 weeks off to have him down, to have him ready for the stretch run going into the playoffs. That's what I would do. I think they would be better served if they did that.
I 99% agree with everything you just said, except for what I read on the injury report from yesterday's Dallas Cowboy practice, which was that Zeke was a full participant and Tony Pollard was not a participant with some sort of foot injury, and I have no idea what it is. I don't know how serious it is. He has mostly been very durable for them, which I keep saying, and I've got to knock on wood again for it, but you have questioned his ability to run between the tackles. I don't.
No, Skip. He's been durable because he only gets 7 to 10 carries a game.
You certainly argue that.
Bump that up to 20 carries a game and see how durable he'll be.
But he does pack a wallop between the tackles. How many wallops could he pack? You know, like,
Exactly.
I don't know.
Exactly.
Could he carry it 25 times in the game and walk away from the game? Well, it appears right now he's not even walking as it is. So I don't know. But he's got a freakish 7th or 8th gear that is sort of quicker than the eye, but you got to get him loose on a kickoff return.
You got to
get him on the edge.
Yeah.
Okay? So I'm a little afraid that what if he's limited going into Washington? Well, you almost get stuck with Zeke.
Right.
And I'm going to say it again. I loved what Troy Aikman said about Zeke because it opened my eyes because his warrior spirit is important to this team. It does not translate into yards per carry. He's the last 4 games, he's averaged 3 yards a carry. He's like 40 yards a game. It's been pathetic for 4 straight games. He's been a liability.
Right.
Except he takes his pounds of flesh. He pounds away.
Right.
He Earl Campbell's a defense. He's hard to tackle because he runs into you with all his might.
Right.
And he bruises you up. But he also is playing with they just said it's a bruised knee. It's not a broken knee. It's not a ligament. It's not a cartilage.
They hurt.
It's just deeply bruised.
They hurt,
okay?
trust
But
me.
the scary quote from Zeke was, hey, he says, I should be good in 3 or 4 weeks. I should be normal. He said, that's perfect timing as they go into the playoffs. You got a bunch of games left. Right? I mean,
that would be perfect timing, Skip, if they gave you those 3 or 4 weeks off.
But he's not saying that because his final quote was, have to drag me off the field. And I do believe that. Remember that movie, Drag Me to Hell?
Yeah.
And I feel when I'm watching him like I'm being dragged to hell, right? Because it's just hard to watch.
It is.
I hurt for him, and then I hurt for me, and I hurt for the team.
But you know what happens, Skip. Zeke is putting bad tape out there.
Sure
now,
he is.
You and I were saying it hurt. Now, Cowboys going to make a decision. They're going to say, hold on, we see steady decline because Skip said he was at 108 as a rookie, and now he all the way down to 55 yards per game.
It's gone down all 6 years. Down. We're talking about yards per game.
Yes.
Down. All 6. And he's on pace to be down again.
How can we justify paying a guy $15 million for a running back when he's the 15th best, 20th best running back in the NFL? How do we justify that, Skip?
Well, you can't unless just his mere presence in the huddle, his mere presence as a blitz pickup blaster, because he blasts people on blitz pickup.
The guys that they want valuable in the locker room, but they don't want to pay that big salary, they do restructures.
Okay, well, we're probably heading in that direction.
Yeah.
Okay, but my eye test keeps saying Tony Pollard. Well, now he's got a foot injury, so that's the only. I kept saying my defense is back to full strength.
Right.
And my receiving core is back to, dare I say, full strength.
But don't you, so with that being said, your defense is at full strength, your receiving core is back at full strength. Amari should be better after having another week of practice and 1 game up under his belt. Don't you feel if Tony Pollard could go with a practice squad guy, that should be enough to get you past Washington? And hold on, you afraid of Taylor Heineke?
Well, who wouldn't be? He just beat the GOAT.
He just
beat Cam at Cam.
Hold on.
He just beat Russell Wilson on Monday Night Football.
You got the number one.
He just beat a guy that we couldn't beat on Thanksgiving at his place. At Raiders.
You got the number 1 pass rusher in football.
We do.
You're worried about.
I'm worried that my coordinator won't let him pass rush, except for about half the time.
Oh my goodness.
Well, am I right?
You agree with me. You
Yes.
believe Zeke should be able to sit down for a week and get healthy.
Well, he should, unless you tell me that Tony Pollard's got some foot that we don't know about, and it's going to be debilitating for him on Sunday. Are you stuck with Zeke?
So you want two banged up guys out there, huh?
Well, you got to run it a little bit because now we're back to the big picture premise. My favorite all-time Dallas Cowboys stat, Dak Prescott is 29-0. 29-0. That's a lot of wins and no losses when they run it more than they throw it.
Okay.
What are the odds we're going to go to Washington and run it more than we throw it if Tony Pollard's got some foot injury that kept him out of practice and Zeke's got a banged-up, bruised knee? What are the odds? You know what Kellen Moore is going to do? He's Andy Reid. He's like Andy Reid Jr. He wants to throw it, right?
You tell me your guy's making how much with those 3 receivers? Your quarterback?
Oh, $75 million.
Okay, you got 3 receivers that you believe you got 2 1As?
I do.
Okay.
No, I think CD's number 1.
Okay, well then you should be able to throw it 50 times and win.
Okay, well, I think they'll probably try to do that, and I hope they can pull it off because little Tyler Taylor Heineke, the one thing he does best, he just ball controls like a demon, right? He just keeps making 3rd and 4s, right? He just keeps finding somebody open on 3rd and 3. And all of a sudden, they just drive it and they keep away from the GOAT at Washington, right? And they beat the GOAT because the GOAT can't beat them. He's just over there watching. Yeah. That's what happened. Okay, that's what they do best. They keep your nuclear offense over on the sideline. Okay? So I think I am stuck with Zeke this week, and he's going to have to. Well, he's just got to go warrior. He's just got to go out there and bang away and hope he can give us 60 or 70
But you know what? He's been going warrior the last 4 or 5 weeks, and you come here every Monday, or you come here on Friday, talking about I'm just not seeing it from Zeke.
Well, I'm not.
Well, you scared the man. You just told me the man banged up.
Okay, but Tony Pollard didn't practice. What am I supposed to do with that? What would you do with it?
I mean, Tony Pollard's going to be fine, Skip.
You think so?
Yeah.
Well, if he can run, he can really run. Yeah. I told you 3 weeks ago I would be happy to go Tony Pollard or bust until we got to Thanksgiving, and then I thought, well, it's Salvation Army kettle day, right? Yeah. I need Zeke to do this and jump in the kettle.
The man can't jump with that ball. He can't jump with that ball.
Oh, he can't jump anymore. He can't even jump in the kettle. Lord have mercy.
Well,
yeah. We win with defense now.
Oh, that's what now you win with defense.
11 from heaven.
No mercy.
Tonight on Thursday Night Football, it's a clash of playoff hopefuls. Big Ben and the Steelers head to Minnesota to face Kirk Cousins and the Vikings. Thursday Night Football at 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific on Fox, NFL Network, and streaming on Prime Video. In the Patriots' big Monday night win over the Bills, gusty conditions led Mac Jones attempting only 3 passes compared to New England's 46 rushes. When asked if he would be okay with a similar offensive game plan, Aaron Rodgers said, quote, "I don't think that would be necessary. There's still a way to get some high percentage attempts in inclement weather, and we've been able to do that." So, Shannon, does Rodgers have a point?
No. Coach Belichick realized that running 46 times was his best way to win the ball game. Skip, you've heard me say on numerous occasions, I've been saying this since you and I came on the air in September of 2016, that I believe Coach Belichick would have won just as many championships with Aaron Rodgers as he would have with Tom Brady. From this day forward, I will no longer say that. There is no way in hell Coach Belichick would be the coach that he is with Aaron Rodgers. Because you know why? Because Aaron Rodgers is unwilling to sacrifice his game like Tom Brady was. Aaron Rodgers has to make the game about him. You hear what he said? There'll be chances to take. There was no need. Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers goes out of his way. I remember the San Francisco game. Yeah, Matt LaFleur called the first one, but I called all the plays after that. He has to let you know his imprint is on the game. I can assure you, in Tom Brady's 20 years in New England, he's audible out of plays that Josh McDaniels called, got to a better play that we never knew anything about. Because at the end of the day, it was about winning the game. Not who get credit for us winning the game, that we won the game. Aaron Rodgers has to be a part. He needs to be a part of the story, the narrative that we won the game because I did this. It wasn't good enough that the Patriots won the game, Skip. With the game plan they had, I needed to make throws down the field. There's a way. No, there wasn't. Why? If we won the game, why was there any other way? We won. You would have a compelling argument, Aaron Rodgers, had they lost the game. But they won the game. And the game dictated. Skip, they're getting 7, 8 yards a clip, running the ball with 6 linemen or what we call jumbo personnel. But Aaron Rodgers has to make it about him. We need to throw the ball down the field. Why? Explains to me everything I need to know why he's 1-4 in championship games. Because it's about him.
So I'm going to quote myself, as I've told you many times when we have this argument about Aaron Rodgers playing for Bill Belichick. I've said many times to you, Aaron Rodgers would last 15 minutes with Bill Belichick.
You're right.
Aaron Rodgers at heart is a
selfish,
finger-pointing, blame-deflecting diva. It's all about Aaron.
It is.
And it's hurt him in many big playoff games because his team knows in the end it's really about him, not about us. It's not a we, it's a he. And that's why, obviously, since that long ago Super Bowl victory, and I certainly give him that one, they made a wild card road playoff run to a Super Bowl championship, but he's 7-8 in the postseason since then. He has now fallen to 1-4 in NFC championship games, including the one at home last year, the first one he had at home. So now we're back to this comment that he made about Belichick. And I will also say publicly that for the first time in the history of my time on TV, I actually agree with Aaron Rodgers about something he said, because I think in the big picture, what he said was very accurate. You can make it a me sort of a quote, but I think he was talking about an us kind of a thing, where quarterbacks in general would tell you that even if it's a little inclement, you got to make an adjustment in the game plan. You have to take some shots down the field. He's talking about Mac Jones or Justin Fields, whoever it is, rookie quarterbacks notwithstanding. You have to take shots down the field regardless of how bad the wind is. You have to find a way to keep them honest. Well, I told you that on Tuesday morning. Belichick got real cute in trying to repolishing his genius.
Yeah.
And he got away with it.
Yes.
But he only got away with it because Josh Allen kept letting him off the hook, because Josh Allen couldn't make one play to change the whole game.
Right.
It wound up 14-10.
Right.
So if you told me going in that Belichick could get away with scoring 14 points and beating Josh Allen at Buffalo, I would have laughed at you, because I know the wind was gusting to 50 miles an hour. It was a hard night, but the whole point was they drafted Josh Allen just for that kind of weather.
But this is not about Josh. Let me ask you a question, Skip. Okay, you take your shots down the field and you turn the ball over. Then what have you accomplished?
Okay, I got it. But Josh Allen had his shots that he missed down the field.
Yeah.
And to be fair, Stephon Diggs missed a throw that sort of jockeyed all around and jostled in the wind, and it went left and right, and all of a sudden it comes down right in his mitts in the end zone, and it could have turned the tide.
Right.
It would have been the magic touchdown that wins the game.
The quarterbacks that I've been around, I mean, think about it. You don't think John Elway wanted to throw the football? We were a running football team with TD.
Okay, but this was blatant. This was outrageous. This was, I'm going to let him throw it 3 times, and not any of the 3 is even remotely downfield.
But what about the time? What about the time when Aaron Rodgers throws the ball 50 times and they run it 5? At some point in time, you got to run the ball just to keep him honest. Okay, but he don't have a problem with that. Okay, because he's the central theme.
Okay, I get you, but I do think he was just talking in general about quarterbacks. Like, hey, if you ask me a question, I'm going to tell you, you got to take some shots down the field, because they were very lucky to get away with that win, because we even went down to the 4th and 14 play that we talked about on Tuesday.
Right.
Cole Beasley runs the little skinny post. He's loose, man. He's open.
Right.
And Josh just didn't seem quickly enough. I don't even know who he was trying to throw to on 4th and 14. It went to nobody.
I think it was Davis. I think Davis the one that caught the touchdown.
I guess it was, but I'm not even sure that if it was a bad pass or.
But Skip, but the thing is that you have a game plan and then you adjust the game plan. Skip, if they were getting 1 yard a carry, they're getting 2 yards a carry.
They were hammered.
But Skip, I mean, we got 230 yards rushing, even with the 3 kneel downs, the 4 kneel downs at the end of the game. Okay. We had 230. What is there to argue about with a win? Okay,
but twice in the fourth quarter, Josh Allen moved into the New England red zone. Twice.
Yes.
So you got multiple opportunities. If you cash one throw, or one run for that matter, if you cash one play, it became a one-play game in the red zone, and you failed both times.
That's my Skip. Yes, I agree with you. But Coach Belichick never had to get out of character because Buffalo didn't do anything to get him out of character.
No.
So why should I change what I'm doing when you haven't forced me to do that? That's the problem with a lot of teams. A lot of teams get out of character when they don't have to.
Okay, what would the narrative have been if Josh Allen had risen up in the pocket and just thrown a frozen rope through the wind to Cole Beasley for a final play touchdown on 4th and 14? And all of a sudden, the final score is 17-14 Buffalo. What's the narrative after the game? Belichick's out of his mind. He's lost his mind. He never let Mac Jones throw it, and the kid's shown that he can
But here's the
do
thing.
this.
Now he has the wind at his back. He has 1 minute and 39 seconds. He has 2 timeouts. He gets an opportunity, to either get a touchdown or get a game time, putting them in position
maybe
game
he
time
would
too.
have had to throw it down the field.
But Skip, at the end of the day, we've seen games in which Tom, early in his career, didn't throw the ball all over the field.
No.
It's about winning the game. Aaron, how about this? Sometimes you got to just take off running to put the defense on their heels. You had an opportunity in the playoff game to take off running to let the defense know that you would run. What did you do? You got all these things about all these scenarios about what you should do. But when you were in that situation last year in the championship game, what did you do?
Okay, just 2 games before, remember, the Colts went up there to Buffalo and just ramshackled them.
Yes!
Ran all over them.
So that tells me we should... And the Tennessee Titans ramshackled them.
Okay, and what did Carson Wentz do in that game? What I can't remember the scores, like 41 to
yeah, with the
12 or something.
I think he threw like 14, 15,
20,
but he was
11 of 20 for 104.
Right.
But he took a few shots down the field, even though they ran wild.
Right.
Jonathan Taylor obviously ran very well because he had 4 touchdowns.
Okay, I'll give you a prime example. The Colts are a running team. They played the Buccaneers. They throw the ball all in the second half. What was the narrative? What did everybody say? You got the best offensive line in football. You got the best running back right now in football. And you're throwing the ball? Coach Belichick says, hold on, wait a minute. The narrative would have been, had they won, that was a great...
But Tampa was number 1 against the run. And they finally said, well, we just can't do this until a late series in which Tampa's playing like prevent run defense, right? And they backed off and they started to run it.
Skip, we can always look at the narrative and says, okay, if they had lost this, if they had done that, we can go back and look at a lot of games. But at the end of the day, Coach Belichick goes into a game. Coach Belichick is a chameleon. We've seen him do this, Skip. We've seen the guy throw the ball 30, 40 times.
Maybe not to this extreme.
Right, but we've seen him throw the ball. Coach Belichick says, our offense is whatever the defense doesn't do, whatever they can't stop, that's what we are today. We don't go saying, well, we got a quarterback that we paid him X and he's done this. We got to get him 35, 40 throws.
He doesn't
That's
do that.
not what he does.
I agree.
You can't stop this today.
Okay.
This is who we are
that was
today.
The all-time watch this game by Bill Belichick,
Right.
and he got away with
Yeah.
it.
Well, Skip, it's not the first time. We've seen teams do this before. It just hadn't been, it's been
Not to
almost
that
50.
extreme.
It's almost been 50 years since we saw it.
No mercy.
In a Q&A with NBA.com during the Lakers' win over the Celtics, Jeannie Buss was asked about how the team would evaluate Frank Vogel as a purple and gold hover around 500. Buss said, quote, until we're 100% healthy, I don't think you can really make any judgment. So, Shannon, what do you take away from what Jeannie said?
I think Frank Vogel has some more time. Jeannie has made it very abundantly clear. She's trying to be like her dad. He was not an impulsive owner, Skip. And she's saying, basically, let's see the team that we put together. Let's see it on the court. LeBron has missed 10, 12 games. AD's been out of the lineup. So let's see these guys play together for an extended period of time. I said by the All-Star game, Skip, if I don't see significant improvements, I think it might be a chance that Frank Vogel is no longer the head coach. You thought it might be before the new year. Right now, Skip, they're a game behind Memphis, who they play the night for the 4 seed. And so I think Jeannie is right. Let's see this team healthy for at least a month and a half. Let's see if LeBron can stay in the lineup for an extended period of time. Let's see if AD and Russ is starting to play a lot better. I love the way Russ is playing over the last week, 2 weeks of the season. I just need AD to give me a little bit more on a nightly basis. LeBron is going to be LeBron, but I agree with Jeannie. Skip, I think he has, I think he has some time, at least to the All-Star game, to get this thing going in a positive direction. But because they've given up so much ground, win one, lose one, win 2, lose 2, isn't going to cut it. They need to go on a run here. They need to win 6, 8 games in a row for Jeannie to like, okay, I think we got the guy that we need to have at the helm.
Yeah. I must admit, I was shocked she didn't just go ahead and rubber stamp him with a vote of confidence, even if it rang a little bit hollow. Just 2 years ago, he won a bubble championship for the Los Angeles Lakers, right?
Update your resume.
Just 2 years ago. Now what? And to her point, there's no Kendrick Nunn or Trevor Reason. I think they're both key pieces of the rotation, especially Trevor on defense.
Yes.
Okay, so this was some cold-blooded response here. Until we're 100% healthy, I don't think you can really make any judgment. Boom. That's it? That's all Frankie V got?
That's all he got.
Well, that
That's
just
all
turned up that heat on his seat a little bit, right? The heat on the seat went up. It's over 100 degrees now on that seat that he's sitting on, right? So, to her point, we got quite a run here, even up to Christmas. And it's kind of a scary run because they go to Memphis tonight. You just said Memphis is 14-11, and just 1 week ago tonight in that same building, they beat Oklahoma City by 72 points. I don't think the Lakers are going to lose by 72.
No, we win it. We ain't going to lose it. We win it.
Are you? Okay.
Yeah.
And then you go to Oklahoma City, which was the benefactor of these 72
We're going to beat the brakes off them. We owe them.
Okay, Oklahoma City came out of losing by 72. They went to Detroit and won by 11. And last night they won at Toronto by 1 point. They have beaten your Lakers twice, albeit without LeBron James.
Exactly. Say it again.
Change the life again.
Sure
right?
is.
Then you get an easy one, Orlando, but then you go to Dallas.
Got that one.
You go to Minnesota. I don't know if you got that one. You go to Chicago. I don't know if you got that one.
I don't know about that one.
Phoenix at home, I definitely don't think you have that one. San Antonio, maybe at home. And then here comes nothing but Nets. Brooklyn Nets on Christmas Day.
I got that one, too.
Do you really?
Yeah. We ain't losing all those games you mentioned. We're not losing more than 2 games. If you make me tell the truth right now, I'm going to say we'll lose 1.
Just 1 game?
One
Shannon Sharpe. Do we have a couple of cases on that?
You make it loud on yourself.
Huh?
You make it loud on yourself.
Huh. I'll take 2 cases on just 1 loss.
1 loss.
Okay, thank you. Done? Thank you. Appreciate that. So I now have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I got 9 chances for you to lose 2 games, right?
Yep.
For 2 cases.
Yep.
Thank you very much.
Put that call in tonight. I'm putting that call in.
Really?
As soon as I get out there, I'm putting that call in.
So you're thinking they're just going to really start stacking some wins.
That GOAT phone ring.
Really?
When the GOAT phone ring.
Really?
Yes.
Huh.
Yes, the GOAT phone is about to go off.
Huh.
You know they had a bat signal, how they light up, the commissioner go to flip that switch in the bat signal. Watch this GOAT phone go off.
On December 30th, Tiger turns 46, and LeBron turns like 43.
Don't worry about it.
Huh?
And still whipping butt. You see? 4 of the last 5 games, how many points he averaged? 4 of the last 5.
I don't know.
You do know. 30.
Well, he's missed a bunch of last-second shots. He managed to miss 2 last-second shots in 1 game against Sacramento.
I know the guy that you said is the best player, he missed 2 earlier this year.
Huh.
So it happens, Skip. Nobody's going to make it.
Did I say is the best player or is the best player?
No. The guy, I'm just saying
I think
what
you just have acknowledged.
No, I know. I said the guy that you said is the best player. Skip, it happens. It happens. This notion that you have that all the great players, every time they take a last-second shot, they made it, is just not true.
Yeah, LeBron managed to miss 3 in 2 nights. How do you do that? 3 last-second shots in 2 games?
No. But what he do in Indy?
Huh?
Don't pretend like you did. He rock with him. He lead with it. Rock with it.
He got fined and he got publicly censored.
That's okay. We'll do it again. We're gonna do it again. We're gonna do it again.
Are you?
Yep. As a matter of fact, he'll come out there with a wheelbarrow. They got a wheelbarrow.
So the same guy who told me this team is basically dead in the water is now telling me that they're going to go on a run.
I didn't tell you they're dead in the water.
You said you were off that bandwagon like just 2-3 days ago. You were done.
No, I told you I need them to start playing better defense.
Oh.
We're going to start playing better defense. I got a sneaky suspicion AD about to go on a little run here.
Really? Well, you've been lighting a fire under him, and he hadn't been cooking.
Watch him. Watch him tonight.
That's the hope of all Laker fans. You can do it, AD.
No mercy.
Cowboy fans are viewed as the biggest complainers in the NFL. Shannon, I'm thinking you're not surprised here?
You are the biggest of the complainers. I think they're more delusional than complainers, because I don't know what they got to complain about. They ain't won anything in a quarter century. So it's not about complaining. They do complain about the calls. Oh, we had to beat this team and the referees. No, you're just not very good. You're delusional because you think you're going to the Super Bowl every year since 95, and you haven't even been close since.
And Dez did catch it.
He didn't catch it. There you go, complaining again.
So, Dallas Cowboy fans, I am the leader of, should be 1, 2, and 3 on this list because we are stuck with Jerry Jones as our owner and our operator. Our GM is Jerry Jones. Do you believe in that?
Yep.
So why shouldn't we complain? We deserve to complain because annually we have one of the most talented, if not the most talented teams in the National Football League. And what always happens? Jerry gets in the way. Jerry hires Mike McCarthy, who annually, daily gets in the way.
Well, tell your receivers to stop running the wrong routes, and Dak will be better at the quarterback position.
Who said that? Jerry Jones.
Y'all ought to be ashamed of yourself. Why is it when it comes to fandom and something in a negative connotation, the Cowboys are always at the forefront? Why y'all got to be at the Why y'all can't be in the middle of the pack or down at the bottom? Because you delusional. Thinking you're going somewhere. You're not going anywhere.
Yeah, we have high hopes because we were born to have high hopes because back in the 60s, 70s, 80s, we had dynasties.
In the 60s, you were terrible.
Well, not at the end of the 60s, we weren't terrible.
Guess what? You complained on Thanksgiving. The referees robbed us. We got robbed.
You did not. Team. That's it for us. We're back tomorrow at 9:30 Eastern. Don't go anywhere. The Herd starts right now.